So we are like, guys, good night, and welcome to another episode of Late Night Discussion. We apologize for the late start, but we're here and we are ready to rule. With me tonight, I have to my extreme right, Mr. Sherod Duncan, no stranger to the show, he's been on before again, and to my immediate right, Mr. Ganesh, Mahipal, again, somebody who's been on the show, and we will be discussing topics in the news. As you know, a lot of things have been happening. The court cases, we had 2 decisions today. We thank you very much for joining us, those persons who are joining on our Facebook Live, the other page that we're also streaming to from around the world, and locally. We want to thank you. Share the live with your friends, share the stream, let somebody know that late night discussion is on, where of course you get the information, you get the facts, and we bring the fire. We call it Fire Fridays. So we're going to get rolling. My name is Randolph, and thank you again for joining us. So, gentlemen, we have a lot to cover. A lot of things would have happened over the last 24 hours, and I want to start with my fellow yellow jersey over there. If you can kind of put everything in a capsule, what exactly played out over the last 24 hours, we know that the court case, they had a number of things brought before the judge today, and I think 2 decisions were passed down. So if you can expound and let us know what's happening.
Well, I would say that the PPP got beat down, to put it simply. And I don't know how many losses that they can accommodate in 1 month, because they lost the general and regional elections on March 2nd, and they keep losing court cases. And so we had 2 definitive judgments out of the High Court. Justice Franklin said that the SOPs, the requested SOPs weren't valid, and he also said that the court has jurisdiction to hear the matter concerning the recount. And that is we're going to know that very, very shortly. But again, 2 very definitive judgments that the SOPs aren't necessary. He said that should come through an elections petition.
Yes.
And he said that the court does have jurisdiction to hear the matter of the recount case.
So we have those 2 things coming down. So what does that mean for the average person listening now? What does that mean moving forward? Now, does it mean that we can move forward now with the actual case?
Yes, correct. Simply put, the case brought by Ms. Moore goes forward.
Yes.
Ms. Moore is an ordinary Guyanese. She's entitled to the recourse of the court, like any Guyanese, like Nandila, like Sanjeev Dattadin. They have approached the court several times since March 2nd, and I didn't see anybody saying that, well, besides the Chief Justice, who in one instance said he was wasting the court's time, Mr. Nandalal.
Yes.
But generally, they have been allowed to approach the court without much criticism. So I don't know why on this end you were hearing all kinds of conspiracy theories and, it's an APNU supporter. I mean, so what if it's an APNU supporter? There are a number of persons who are PPP supporters who have brought cases against the government. That is not the point. The point is that every citizen have a recourse to the courts. It's a right of every citizen in our country, and Ms. Moore has done so, and the court and the case goes forward.
Yeah. All right, so the case moves forward now. So I know that persons daily call you and they stop in to what is happening, when is our president going to be sworn in, or why are they starting the process? And I keep telling them, we have these what we call judicial reviews for a reason, because at the end of the day, the third umpire must make a call, and anybody has a right to go and take their matter to the court. So we've always said that we are law abiding and we will abide by the laws. Ganesh, if you can jump in here very quickly. The PPP now seems to not want to abide by the law. I heard a comment by the leader of the opposition that even if the court proceedings don't go their way, they're not accepting it. So, jump in on that.
Randy, thank you first of all for having me on your program once again, and it is always a pleasure being in the company of Sherod Duncan, who happens to be my longtime friend.
Long time.
Long time indeed. And before I get into that, allow me to, on behalf of the Coalition APNU AFC, to express Navratri greetings to the Hindu community. They are currently in the festive season of Navratri, and I know that a lot of measures are put in place to ensure that they stay within the confines of the guidelines that were provided by the Ministry of Public Health, PAHU, WHO, with reference to this COVID-19 issue, and we ourselves, we are ensuring that we take the necessary action. As it relates to the People's Progressive Party and their modus operandi and how they are reacting, and the fact that Bharat Jagdeo said that they are not going to settle for nothing else than victory of their own part. It only leads me to believe that, and this I think is factual, the PPP, they're trying to stay afloat, they're trying to stay relevant. Because with what has happened in 2020, March 2nd, it is clear that the PPP is no longer functioning properly. And the General Secretary that they have, Bharat Jagdeo, he wants to stay relevant, he wants to cements his name still, because there is no doubt that the mass of the PPP, the grassroots supporters of the People's Progressive Party, they no longer support him for what he has done, because it is him who put that candidate onto the people of the PPP. And they signaled they did not want Irfan Ali since then. So he has to create this pandemonium. He has to create this scenery. He has to create this kind of environment to persuade the supporters, to paint this picture to them as though it is not his fault, but that of the system. And that is what he's trying to do. He's trying to stay relevant in the stream of politics. But the people of this country, they recognize that Jagdeo failed the People's Progressive Party from the outset when he single-handedly selected Irfan Ali as the candidate to contest against the distinguished noble brigadier. And we know that that was no match long before March 2nd, and the way the people voted on March 2nd cemented that knowledge that Irfan Ali was simply no match for the brigadier. But let's not run away from the fact that Jagdeo wants to stay relevant, and he is going to persuade the people, the membership of the PPP, because we know how politics work. These political parties, the PPP, the PNC, the AFC, the relevant political parties, they are known to have conferences and congress and all the necessary.
They are practically elected leaders within the party structure.
So the Jagdeo knows that he cannot go to his membership without fighting for Irfan Ali, because anytime he let goes, it means that he shows weakness to his base, and that is why he's trying to create this pandemonium.
You will also note that this is under the Jagdeo leadership in the PPP that they've been losing consecutive elections since 2011.
And their numbers, you have seen how their numbers have fallen. So we should not run away, and I think the membership of the PPP, they have recognized that Irfan Ali did not win this election. And because they have recognized that, a number of them, they're staying back, and they're not doing what Jagdeo wants them to do. So because they have recognized that from the outset, a failed candidate was put before the people of this country. But we are not going to allow his belief and his attitude and his one-man army and he voicing his concerns and so on derail us or deter us from recognizing that we have a system in place. There is a court system that we respect, and we have a leader, Brigadier David Granger, who's guiding us in keeping with the laws, the rule of law, and we are going to continue to go along that road. And we know that the time for the swearing in of His Excellency Brigadier, I don't know if I can say re-swearing in, if that is grammatically correct. But the point is, he is going to be sworn in once again as president of this country, and that time is coming very close.
I want to add to this idea of rule of law and understanding what Jagyu basically is laying the foundation for. If you are willing to go on national television and preempt, basically, because you know you really don't have a case in court, so you're going to preempt and say, even if the judge rules that GCOM can go ahead and declare the final result, and they don't have to by law go with the CARICOM recount, you are not going to respect that.
He's wicked. He's wicked. Allow me to say that it was Jagdio who benefited from Janet Jagan flouting the law in 1997. They were court marshals who were trying to deliver the edict of the court, who were blocked from delivering same. That has not happened anywhere close in modern times. Jagdio was there. He said nothing. Mrs. Jagan was sorting secretly. While ballots were still being counted, there were thousands of ballots still to be counted. When do not say, soaring Mrs. Jagan. The PPP has not apologized until this day for that. Mrs. Jagdio benefited from that because he inherited the presidency when Mrs. Jagan stepped aside. The 1997 elections were vitiated, as a matter of fact, null and void. So since from then, the PPP has started to decline. Just the same way, the then opposition went by way of an elections petition. That has been the course of things, but Jagdio does not understand the rule of law. He does not appreciate it at all.
But that's not the only instance where the People's Progressive Party owes this nation and owes other political parties an apology. In 2006, the AFC, they won a seat in Region 10,
right,
and that seat was given to Sam Hines from the People's Progressive Party. You don't hear Jagdio apologizing for that gross mishap that happened with Gokul Gudu as the CEO of GCOM. But we have to recognize that it is time for us to step out from mentioning or even attempting to give any level of credence to the People's Progressive Party, and more specifically Bharat Jagdio. His time came and his time has gone. We have to recognize that we are moving forward, and like our campaign trail would have said, we are moving forward together. We have a nation to heal. There is no doubt about that. Of course, we appreciate the rulings of the court today, and I believe from all legal standpoint, the ruling of the court will be to allow GCOM to continue the process. And in so doing, we have to recognize that we have a nation to heal. We have to recognize that this division that Jagdio has created, we cannot afford to keep that going, and we have to bond our people, unify our country, recognize that we have resources that we have to invest in our future generation, and we must be able to know that when we pass down the baton, it is on good footing. So I am going to ask the nation to recognize that Jagdio is history. Even the People's Progressive Party, they are history, and we are moving forward together to build a nation where we can live comfortably in love, unity, and togetherness.
And I like that.
You raise the issue again of the recognition of the rule.
That's what I was going to.
The opposition operates where concerns the rule of law in the same way we have seen quite recently. When they approach the court, it's all well and good. When somebody else does it, they are sinister motives, they are conspiracy theories and all of that. Again, in 1997, to facilitate the CARICOM audit, there was a piece of legislation, it was Act 1 of 1998, that was introduced into Parliament by then President Janet Jagan to facilitate the recount and the audit of the elections process. The same thing has to obtain now. Whether or not Mayor Motley and David Granger have agreed in good faith, GCOM operates as a statutory body. It operates on the basis of the rule of law. And so for any body or anything to impose themselves on that system, there must be some basis in the law, which is what Ms. Moore is contending in the court, that you could not have a recount. however good the idea is, however welcome the idea is, without a legal basis. We said, and the PO Mr. Mingo has shown, that even for a recount as a request by the parties has to come through a process. A recount can come outside of that process. If it does, the way the recount was looked at in 97, it has to have at least a legal basis, and which is what you have, what we had in the Audit Act of 1998, a legal basis for it. And so again, Jagio does not appreciate this kind of rule of law. I mean, this is the gentleman who masqueraded as a married man for years. For years, he does not have that kind of an appreciation. Look what the man said just the other day. His bag book is full. He now has a list. You understand me? Of people and their families, and then look at his followers. The gentleman who told the two women officers, the two female officers, he's marking their faces. Look at the attitude. They do not have an appreciation for the rule of law.
Right. Now, I want to make mention of this based on what follow up on what Sherod said. The thing is, these laws, these statutes, and the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, and the Representation of the People's Act, and all the other acts, they were created by the people of Guyana.
Correct.
They were created, they were crafted, they were debated, they withstood scrutiny and everything in our National Assembly. The People's Progressive Party, they have been there from the outset. They have been a part of the National Assembly, and they have been in power for 23 years. So this is the Representation of the People Act, and I think there were some amendments that were done to the Representation of the People Act. It was done under the guidance of the people of Guyana, the representation in the National Assembly, the members of Parliament that debated and crafted and all of the likes, and went to the President for him to assent. Now, I am simply saying that if we are now recognizing that there are certain parts of the Representation of the People Act that we don't subscribe to, as he wants to paint that picture, then the proper thing to do is not to chastise the existing process and system that we have that worked in 92, in 97, in 2001, in 2006, in 2011, in 2015. All these elections, that same system worked. That same system is what had the PPP in office for 23 years. And in 2020, you are now finding a fault.
It's wicked.
Wicked. It's not only wicked, it's beyond wicked. It means that you want us to change the rule of the game to satisfy you, the player. And we cannot do that. We have to admire and appreciate that we have rules and regulations. And if there are problems that you want to find with those rules and regulations, there is a course of action that we can take. And what we have gained from election 2020, in terms of our knowledge, we can go back to the very National Assembly. We can go back to the National Assembly, make the amendments, debate the bill, and then we pass it again. That's how we evolve. We see our errors, we correct it the rightful way, and we move forward. But to create this havoc and pandemonium and mayhem, to say that it's either your way or no way, then you must face some level of penalty for that kind of behavior. We cannot have one person in this country trying to create pandemonium, trying to break what we have built for so many years, trying to divide us rather than bring us together. We cannot afford to allow that. And therefore action must be taken against him for his words, his wicked demonic words.
I want to jump in because the picture must be painted as to what the PPP is trying to do here. We have a system, as you said, like we say in cricket, the playing conditions were set up long ago. You knew the playing conditions, you knew what the rules of the game were. This idea of not, and I repeat it because I find it dangerous, of not willing or your unwillingness to accept what the court says. It's a dangerous ground you're standing on, because you are saying,
irresponsible.
Yeah, you are saying basically, look, we don't believe what GCOM said. GCOM is corrupt. You call GCOM all the names you want to call it, right? I saw the GCOM chair being attacked viciously on social media today. So you're discarding the GCOM. GCOM is no good according to the PDP. And now the courts will not be respected. If you're going to stand up and say that the court system now, you're not going to, just imagine if we had taken, if the AP and UFC had taken that position when we went to court to cleanse the voters list. The judge said, leave the list as is. If we had said, listen, we don't even care what the judge says, the list has to be cleansed. This is not how it works. You are living in a country of rules, regulations, you have laws. If you are going to stand and set a precedent, you know what, I'm not going to even bother with the courts, then we are dangerous waters. And you are then on the same day, on the same time, you're going to go and lobby these international people and say, listen, our courts, it makes sense. The constitutional body corrupt. What are you doing to the country?
And that begs the question, it begs the question of how deeply involved Mercury is.
Mm-hmm.
Because that lobbying forum that PPP highlighted, Mercury, it begs the question, how deeply involved are they with the people from the foreign lands that are saying all kinds of different things? Because we are a democratic country, we are a sovereign state, we are independent. We make our rules, we break our rules, we fix ourselves, our country, we run our affairs. And as long as we stay within the confines of the law, and as long as we operate within the rule of law that we have established, that has been fixed for us for how much years now? 50 years or so. For 50 years we have been running with this rule of law. And for you to now come and tell us that we have to do it separately from our rule of law, then something is amiss.
Before you jump in here, Sherod, I want to go back to something that Mr. Ramjitan said. What is playing out now is such a dangerous game, because let me tell you what will happen if we allow what the PPP is trying to do to go forward. Anybody, any political party in the future could jump up and say what? GCOM, your number's wrong, my own right, let's call in some international people to do a recount. And we just, every single election we can go down that road. Think about it.
Yes, we have to be careful with the precedents.
Right? And just throw in the rules to GCOM, your number's wrong, my own right, let's call in some people to do it. That's not what happens.
What Jack Buell is attempting here is unacceptable and it's untenable. It's divisive and it's wicked. To say that the court ruling or no court ruling, the results are fraudulent.
Yes.
Court ruling or no court ruling, the results are fraudulent. The only law in this country Mr. Jack Buell respects is the one that facilitates his immunity as a past president. That's the only one that he respects. And we have to strip him of that immunity, and we have to prosecute Mr. Jack Buell.
Well, he's no longer president. He's no longer president, so that immunity.
I want to read something for us, and you'll be surprised at the narrative. There is some sort of sinister motive behind the refusal to grant the party, this is the PPP, a recount and the releasing of box by box SOPs. I read another portion. I believe there is a fear because when we have our statements of polls, which we have, and we take those, and we think there will be differences, he said, adding that even now the PPP believes there are attempts within GCOM to manipulate the SOPs. A little piece more I'm going to read. The PPP is therefore going to file an elections petition shortly, and it will outline all of the issues raised in the press conference that they had. He added that the party was also prepared to mobilize supporters and tell them that they were cheated out of office. This was May 23rd, 2015. Same arguments. SOPs are fraudulent, they're being cheated out of office, there's a conspiracy at GCOM. They are the problem.
Same thing in 2015. Right. So I want to, as we start to talk about SOPs, this narrative that they would have been pushing that GCOM did not use SOPs to come to the to tabulate, sorry, or come to the to fill out their spreadsheet, which was debunked by Lowenfield. Right? I don't know if you want to add to that. I want to push back on that.
These guys are so treacherous, they are so devious, they are strangers to the truth. The chief elections officer in the court process, he has said the statements of polls were scanned in the presence of persons entitled to be there and displayed. All statements of poll were picked up one after the other in the presence of those persons entitled to be there, and they were scanned in their presence and displayed in their presence on a screen set up for that purpose. At no time did the returning officer or the elections clerk read or call votes cast for the list of candidates from a spreadsheet. He maintained, according to him, any allegation to the contrary is false and malicious. He submitted that while the PPPC and other parties have alleged that the returning officer breached Section 84 of the Representation of People Act, it is his belief that the act was followed scrupulously.
And that is what was done after we went to court.
After we went to court.
When the Chief Justice outlined what is the procedure, we followed it. When I say we, I mean GCOM followed the procedure. I don't understand why is it that people can't seem to understand that there is a system. Or I shouldn't say that, I should say majority of Guyana understands that there is a system. But this one loudmouse seems to believe that he has control over the masses. And that is not true, because as we have said earlier in the program, the numbers of the PPP, they have been falling and falling very quickly.
Yeah.
So Guyanese, all I can say to you, be calm, be patient. Things are happening the way it has to happen. The courts of our land, we have to respect and follow the rulings of our court. And I know that the tension is there. Even me, I want to see our president sworn in. I want to ensure that we return to some level of normalcy, because we have so much to do and so much to continue from where we were left off. But at the end of the day, all of this is a learning process for our country also, and it also educates us more as Guyanese, because most people, I am sure, thankfully for the APNU AFC, we have internet access in many communities. We have the accessibility to information far way easier, and we are now being edified to the point of understanding what is it that the law says. We are now getting to understand what is it that is happening, and we are able to recognize that the People's Progressive Party fooled us for too long. And never again will we have the People's Progressive Party there to mislead us. We are a law-abiding coalition, we are a law-abiding executive, and we have always said from the top, from His Excellency the President to the lowest, probably myself, we have said that we are respecting the rule of law. We believe in the respect for the rule of law, and we have to adhere to the rule of law. The President has acknowledged that he is not above the law. Yes. And if the court has to pronounce, let the court pronounce, and let us move forward from there.
And I am happy that we're talking about the rule of law, respecting the rule of law, because I hear this fear tactics from the other side, from the PPP, and even coming up right, they want sanction. Quite, it was funny, but I think it's a serious statement that a number of persons have been making on the internet. They said, look, give me sanctions, I take sanctions over Jack Leo any day. It's funny, but it tells you where we are as a nation. One party is willing to put this country, expose this country to sanctions because they lost the elections.
And you will remember, Sherod will remember also, that when Jack Leo was president, the US spoke about sanctions. The US spoke about sanctions against the Jack Leo regime. And Jack Leo used the words and said that it is unfair when people are sitting outside of the country and and they're judging us on anecdotal evidence. Simply put, he is really saying that you have to be here to understand what is going on. Well, I am going to say to the people, as far as and wide, that you have to understand our Constitution to recognize what is really playing out and what is really going, what is it that is happening. And as I said before, we created the Constitution, the Guyanese people. We are the ones who wrote the law. We are the ones who put those words there. We dictated how it should have happened. And if we are saying now that there is a problem, to fix it, we don't create pandemonium and go into the public domain and paint a picture of doom and gloom. We go back to the very National Assembly and we fix what we are terming as wrong, and we allow the system to work. But Jackie simply does not want to go back as opposition leader. But he has to, because he has lost the elections. The People's Progressive Party, they have lost the elections. I'm not sure if Irfan is going to be the opposition leader or Barry Jackie, but what I clearly see already, Mark Phillips has gone into the wilderness.
Well, Jagio knows all too well about sanctions, because if I'm not mistaken, Irfan was sanctioned recently by Canada that he was not permitted to travel there. And it was under the PPPC's administration that several ministers lost their diplomatic passports. So they know all too well about sanctions. But these very same people who are talking now about sanctions and whose name is on a list and all of that, when Caroline Rodriguez Burkett was our Foreign Affairs Minister, Ms. Burkett said in an article carried by Sabbath News, she called for us never again to be manipulated by foreign forces. She was talking about the ABC countries, our then Foreign Affairs Minister, that we should not, as an independent sovereign nation, we should not be manipulated by foreign forces. So I find that very, very strange. Mr. Jack Jones himself, in 2011 February, is quoted in another Sabbath News article in which he says that no foreign mission should have a vested interest in our internal affairs. They can have an interest, they can be helpful, but a vested interest, he says, concerns me a lot.
And
this is the man calling for sanctions.
And you will remember Priya Malik-Chan when she
the feral blast
chastised the
American ambassador.
So clearly when these people were in government, they operated one way, and in opposition they want to operate in a different.
No, they call it the sanction.
They were duplicitous, that's the word Jack used off to use. And clearly we're seeing which political party is duplicitous in their actions.
Yes.
Because when you were in government, you had one manner in which you were speaking. You were speaking one way. Now you're in opposition, you're saying something else.
Sanction.
Duplicity. I want to pivot here to an article I saw about SOPs, and we spend some time on SOPs. This idea of introducing the SOPs into the trial, and one person claiming that in 2001 that was done to some extent, and I know that it was a different situation, a different case altogether. I don't know if you want to shed some light on that, because I think people are running away with the idea that is somehow true. I don't know if you
well, as much as I know, the court said this afternoon that the SOPs are examined in an elections petition, and we have not gotten to that stage as yet.
Yes.
If GCOM wants to give SOPs to any party during a certain and particular process, the again, Ganesh was a pains outline that we have to submit ourselves to whatever the legal process is. Are we still within the time frame for that process where requests can be made, or are we outside of it? I keep saying that we can allow ourselves to be ruled by emotions, or we can allow ourselves to be ruled by rules and laws. And GCOM is ruled, unfortunately, by rules and laws. And so the GCOM chairman can make a promise. Does it have a basis in the law? Granger and the chairman of CARICOM can make a promise to each other in good faith that has no basis in the law.
And then the legal officers, they will have to advance this argument before the learned judge to differentiate what really is administrative powers versus statutory powers. And I think I've recognized that the chairperson of GCOM, she would have submitted an affidavit that really is saying let's have the recount and so on, which she's entitled to. We have to know if that has base in law.
Correct.
And I am no lawyer. I know Sherod, he has some legal background. But at the end of the day, my question is, the chairperson and the commissioners of GCOM, they can say one thing, yes, but then we have to know if we're operating within the confines of the law, and we don't want to set a precedence where we violate our laws. That is
and
why
we
I
say
welcome.
when the outcome don't suit them, we'll come back tomorrow afternoon and argue on the side of the case.
That is why, in one way, I am happy that the matter is before the court, because the court now will interpret the law and will tell us what is it that we have to do. And that is, it's similar to what we would have done with the no confidence motion. But I think what I'm sensing here now is that the commission of itself, with the 6 commissioners and the chairperson, I think they have administrative authority over the functions of GCOM. But when it comes to this election, there's statutory functions and statutory officers that execute statutory functions. And it is my humble opinion that the RO acted within his rights, and that was to tabulate the scores and declare the results. I want to just edify our viewers for them to understand that this whole talk about verification of SOPs, verification of SOPs were done at the place of poll. When we had the elections and persons voted at the close of poll, every ballot had to be counted in front of political party agents. Every ballot had to be counted in front of the observers and so on that were there. And there was a tally sheet that was used to put down the votes, each party and how much they received. And from that tally sheet, the information was extracted and put onto an SOP, a statement of poll. And that statement of poll was endorsed by the presiding officer. It was endorsed by the political party agents that were present at the place of poll and would have observed that process. So that is the verification process. These SOPs, they came in booklets of 4. So there are 4 original copies and there are 3 carbon copies behind each one. So you have 12 carbon copied SOPs and you have 4 original SOPs. The 4 original SOPs, one was put outside of the polling place, one is with the presiding officer, one goes to the CEO, one goes to the RO, and that is how it is. So with the SOPs that GCOM has, those are the original SOPs that cannot be questioned, because those are the SOPs that bear the authentic signature of the presiding officers at the place of poll and also the party agents. So to ask political parties, or for you as a political party to put out SOPs, it is outrageous and really and truly not within the confines of the law. You do not have that authority. Exactly. And if we are going to create such an environment where the PPP can put out SOPs, copies of SOPs, all the other small parties that are basically subsets of the PPP, if they are going to put out SOPs, then the AFP and UAFC, we are going to put out SOPs. Where does that leave GCOM with their SOPs? And we know that from history in 2015, there were fraudulent SOPs, there were fake SOPs that were before the people of this country, and we know who were the mastermind behind them. So how can we now believe that they have credible SOPs. The credible SOPs are with GCOM. So GCOM has to make that pronouncement. GCOM is an independent agency that has the authority and is mandated by we the people through the National Assembly to pronounce on elections in this country. And we have to respect that.
It is so, and I'm happy that you share that with the public, because there's a lot of confusion as to how these SOPs are generated and the fact that GCOM has the original. And it is so disappointing that we want to push our nation into a place where everybody is the umpire. That is essentially what
the man spent a lot of money on election 2020 and he wants to get it back. He wants the taxpayers people to really give him back. What's not going to happen? He wants to put his hand in the cookie jar. He wants to get his hand in the public purse. And that's why he's creating this And he got nobody for worry about. He got chicken or a child. He got a woman or a man by his side. So he has nobody to worry about other than himself. And every time he goes to bed, it seems as though he's creating some different scenery in his head as to how he's going to play the next day.
It is beyond me how we want to operate in a situation where we have multiple umpires. It is just confusion. If I jump up, as you said, I have my SOPs, you have your SOPs, you have your, and we all start arguing about which SOPs, right? Then where are we going?
And we say the umpire is corrupt. Jagger has among his motives, he knows he has lost the election, the AFC, we have won these elections and won them convincingly. And he wants an extra process. That is why he's going to Caricom step in and either shorten the life of the government or do something that gives him a seat at the table. Comes back again to this whole notion of relevance. He has to create this relevance for himself. And the only way he can do that is to destabilize the guardians of democracy who seem to have been sleeping through the 23 years where we have no local government elections, extrajudicial killings, and a host of other infractions.
They were benefiting.
They seem to have slept through that. I saw one of the guardians of democracy live streaming from his vehicle. He's holding the phone in one hand, he has a sheet of paper in the next hand, and he's driving. So he's not a guardian of the law, clearly, but he's a guardian of quote-unquote democracy. So these guys are doing a whole pack of foolishness. Max.
At the end of the day, we have to also understand, and you clearly see, where are the Janites in all of this? You're not seeing the old stalwarts of the PPP creating this noise and pandemonium.
Well,
and look where is Mark Phillips? It leaves us to draw the conclusion that the PPP convincingly knows that they lost the elections. If we will remember, it was 2015 that Jagdeo wanted Ramatar to go public and said they win the elections.
As a matter of fact,
and when Ramatar didn't do it, I think somebody said that he slapped the man or something like that.
As a matter of fact, our intelligence suggests that there are elements in the PPP who want to concede, but it is again Mr. Jagdeo who is fighting for relevance because he understands that when his attempts fail, the cannibalism that's going to take place in the PPP, he's going to be a victim of that. So he's fighting for relevance, but we understand that there are elements in PPP who want to concede.
Yeah, and I want to take us to two topics before we close out. There are a lot of people, and I outline it every single night because I think it's very, very important. Those persons, there are some persons. And I'm not going to talk about the foreign observers, right? As foreign observers have their place, and we invited them to come and observe the election.
And that's how transparent we were, right? And we still are. Right. We have no problem with them observing.
And he accommodated everybody, even those persons masquerading as observers.
Yes, even the criminal elements. The man was wanted by the U.S. authorities as a drug trafficking, and he was caught. And this man was an observer. This man was an observer through the private sector commission. And Jerry Govina, who sees everything, knows everything, didn't know he was harboring a wanted fugitive whose sanctions were being borne on, right? And he was masquerading, probably was with the whole pack of them who stormed GCOM and created all of that havoc. But Jerry couldn't see that.
But Randolph, I don't want us to run away from I don't want our viewers to run away from the fact that we support the call for credibility, fair,
transparency,
transparent. We're not running away from that. We support our president, and we believe strongly that there needs to be a recount. We do endorse the whole notion of our country going into what we will consider an election audit, because there are so much that will come out from an audit that I think the entire Guyanese population and they will be shocked. Because I am sure we are going to unearth cases where the list of electors, the official list of electors, had a particular number, and the amount of people who voted at that polling station exceeded the amount that were on the official list of electors.
Whose party it is, Ganesh, who had presiding officers registered to work with ECO, who were campaigning fully clad?
People's Progress Party. Yes, a lot of, in an audit, in an election audit, we're going to unearth a lot of discrepancies.
ID cards are being shared somewhere.
Distributed assistance village, then we had the same happening at Monrepo. We are going to also find out that the polling clerk that received the ID cards of the person who comes to vote, that polling clerk was supposed to call the ID number from the card. But instead they were calling it from the official list of electors.
At one polling station in Sophia, 80 spoiled ballots for want of an official mark. Somebody didn't stamp it with a 6-digit number. 80 spoiled ballots.
A lot of discrepancies.
So the audit is needed.
So the audit is needed. Look, there are a number of things that you are going to unearth. And I am saying allow us to have the election audit. A recount is not all. A recount is not all. A recount is good, yes, but that is not all to fix this problem. But when you do this election audit now, you will be able to recognize a number of problems. And it starts with the bloated lists. That is why we have to go back to the National Assembly and we have to amend the laws so that we can cater for the revision of our lists and we can have house-to-house registration, which is something that the APNU AFC has been calling for the longest while. We need to have house-to-house registration so that we can clean that list.
Sanitize
the list the same way we sanitize it for COVID-19. We have to sanitize the list. And when we sanitize the list, Randy, we are going to also fix the system by documenting the procedure of how the election is to go about. Because I do not support the polling agent having an official list of electors in front of him. If I am going to vote at a polling station, let me go and give my ID card to the polling clerk, and the polling clerk is to call out the information on my ID card. And the people who are sitting as the political party agents and the presiding officers and the other person there, they will verify the information that that polling clerk is calling. And then you have to also allow the political agents to see the ID card so that they can verify that the person who's standing in front there is the person that has the ID card in front of you. We had a number of issues like that in our region. We had another issue, just give me a few more minutes to tell you this. We had another issue where persons were showing up to vote and they had no ID card, and the presiding officer was saying that I registered him during the house-to-house registration time. So I know he is who he is. I said, no, I objected strongly. I said, you cannot do that. That is circumstantial as far as I'm concerned. What I want you to do is to go into the folio and ask him questions pertaining to who he says he is from the folio. And when she did that, the man was simply asked, what date is your birthday? And he said 23rd of February. That was not the date on the folio. And then he was asked to produce say what is his mother's name. He don't know his mother's right name. He gives some car name. And do you know that 3PO was prepared to go and issue that man a ballot? I had to behave like a raging bull. And then they had to bring in the RO, and then a set of other officers had to come in. I was not prepared to accept that person going to vote because he failed the test, which was to answer the questions on the folio. And I am sure that there are a number of cases like that would have happened. So the audit is needed, an election audit is needed. But let us have it through the course of the law. And it has to come after the swearing in of His Excellency President Granger. Normalcy is restored, and a special court is set up to facilitate an elections petition and an election audit.
And let the blows blow. That's all I want to say.
Yeah. I know you wanted to jump in just.
Let the blows blow.
We are quickly running out of time, gentlemen. If you're just joining us, we are having, of course, a late night discussion. This is Fire Fridays, and we have been, ventilating a number of issues, the matters in court. I'm joined by Sherod, Duncan, and Mr. Ganesh, Mahipal. And we want to end, gentlemen, on a note of moving forward, right? Because at the end of the day, like our campaign slogan says, moving forward together, we have to figure out how as a country we will move forward, how we will start here. And I like to ask this question every night of the day. What is it that we need to do? What is it that Guyana needs to do now, given all that has gone on, and start that healing process? Where should we go?
You go first, or
I would say we definitely have to swear in His Excellency David Granger. He has to name his cabinet, and we have to begin the work of the new government and the President's second term. I believe strongly we have to deepen our policy as regards social cohesion. We have lots of issues where that is concerned, but we also got to focus on our decade of development and really and truly bring this country into the 21st century. As we have said, we have some challenges with the electoral system. We saw several things that can be done better, but we believe that this has to be looked at in a holistic manner. All of the stakeholders must come to the table, and we must have the political will to change it. And that is where I believe our focus should be. But again, beginning by let us swear in our President, David Arthur Granger, because we have won the 2020 general and regional elections, and so we must move forward.
Yes.
I am going to concur with everything that Sherod says, and I'm going to add that all of us, we have to look at ourselves in the mirror, and we have to recognize that change starts with us. And we have to embrace each other and recognize that building Guyana calls for cooperation. Building Guyana calls for togetherness. Building Guyana calls for us living in harmony. And we have to recognize that if we are going to move this country forward for the future generations so that our offspring can enjoy a better country than what we have inherited from our foreparents, then we have to do it as one people, in one nation, with one destiny. And Guyana is getting to that point. We are right now, unfortunately, treading on some disturbing or some turbulent waters that was created by that one-man army, but he is not going to pull us down, because we are stronger together and we are moving forward together as one people, one nation, one destiny, with Brigadier David Arthur Granger as our president for the Cooperative Republic of Guyana.
All right, so thank you. I think both gentlemen expressed well there. We want to thank those persons who tuned in tonight. It was a very lively discussion. Thank you very much, Mr. Duncan and Mr. Mahipal, for joining us on this Friday night. We know persons are indoors as we are trying to stay away from our social gathering or social distancing. And we encourage everyone. I know that the Ministry of Health, they're having daily updates. The minister will be updating daily at 12. I know she is going to be out and about tomorrow, ensuring that everything is going in order. Please stay tuned for any other updates on COVID-19. Guys, stay safe. Ensure you follow the precautions, follow the instructions.